if you're suffering out there, there may be 3 or 4 key things that have been completely missed when it comes to your case and you recovering. So what I want to go over is a typical client that comes to me, and this client is probably you. You're probably going to relate to this. So this is what I see week in and week out with many, especially women that are suffering. So this client here would be 45 years old. 45 years old, premenopausal. She has low blood pressure. She has low glucose levels. She has suboptimal iron levels. She has suboptimal thyroid function. She also has a bunch of GI problems, such as gas, bloating, constipation. She's suboptimal in vitamin D, gluten sensitivity, and she also gets crappy sleep. Let me go over the approach that does not work. And it is not working on millions and millions and millions of people in the United States. So this does not work. Oh, you're 45. You're menopausal. You must be depressed. Here's some antidepressant medication because you're just not feeling well enough. You're kind of fatigued. You're tired. You're clearly depressed. So we're going to put you on some antidepressant medication. And then you complain of maybe you have a bloated stomach and you're constipated. Well, that's clearly acid reflux. So now we're going to put you on some GERD medication that's going to decrease your hydrochloric acid in your stomach and completely mess you up even more. And then thirdly, you can't stay asleep. So now we're going to give you some sleeping medications, and that's going to cause your problem. So this is typical. If you're watching this video, this might happen to you. You don't need to continue to suffer with this way like this. There are plenty of ways to get better. You just have to look outside the box. Like this information here can actually drastically change your life. Now, let's contrast that to something that functional medicine does or the approach that I would take. So the first thing you want to do is acknowledge these problems and acknowledge that you're not crazy and that you don't need antidepressant medications or you don't need GERD medications or you don't need sleep medications. We need to fix your God-given human potential, your physiology. Then you can recover and have vibrance and vitality. So let's go over the approach that I would take. Well, of course, I would do a bunch of different labs and that kind of thing, but let's just go over this case right here. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to check your blood pressure. Do you have low blood pressure? A lot of women that come to me, they have low blood pressure, not ideal blood pressure. People say, oh, great, you have low blood pressure. No, you have. If you have low blood pressure, that's bad. On my website, I have a whole bunch of content on low blood pressure. So first thing we have is we found that you have low blood pressure. If you don't have good blood pressure, you don't have enough blood flow getting to your brain. You don't have enough blood flow getting to your fingertips and your feet and your female organs and everything in your entire body. That's a problem. Then on top of that, we also did a whole protocol to check your blood glucose. You do this stuff at home. Very simple. Costs you $30 on Amazon. $30 on Amazon. We found that you have hypoglycemia. You don't have good sugar regulation through the whole entire day. You might have your sugar levels might drop, then they go up, then they drop, then they go up. That's a problem. That's going to cause all these problems that you're suffering with. Then on top of that, on blood work, we found that you have suboptimal iron levels. Not that you could be diagnosed with anemia. You don't have anemia, but you don't have ideal iron. You need iron to deliver oxygen to your body. Or maybe I ask you, well, how are your cycles? Well, they're really heavy now. They're a lot heavier. So now you're losing more blood. So now you're losing more blood. Now you have anemia. Not where you could be diagnosed with anemia, but you have subclinical anemia. Well, if you don't have enough iron, you're going to have a crappy life, right? That's just how it's going to go. These are low-hanging fruit. So then we found that. Now you just know it's your thyroid. It's your thyroid, right? So they only do the cheapest possible labs on your thyroid, TSH and T4. And then we found some investigation that you actually have a thyroid problem. You have an autoimmune disease against your thyroid, and no one checked you for that. So now your case is now you have an autoimmune case. So that's a whole nother protocol that we can do to try and help that. And all this meantime that you're having this GI problems, gas, bloating, constipation, and you just feel like crap, right? All day long. Then we also did some other blood work, and you have suboptimal vitamin D. What do I mean by that? The range of vitamin D is 30 to 100. So if you're at 35, they're going to pat you on the back and say you're good. No, that's not good. You want to be around 80. 80 is ideal. So just right from this little post right here, right, we found a bunch of things. And then also, every time you eat food, no one's actually suggested maybe you have some food sensitivities. Maybe you should eliminate gluten because maybe you're sensitive to gluten, or maybe you're sensitive to dairy, or maybe you're sensitive to eggs. No one's actually looked at your diet. No one's actually taken more than 5 minutes to actually evaluate you and give you some drug. So this is the whole different approach. You can see, like, if you actually take an approach like this, and you actually look at your case from, you're a human being and you deserve to get well and you deserve to have a comprehensive care program, you are going to get better. It's just that simple. So let's summarize this case, this 45-year-old female that I see day in and day out that's totally been neglected. We found that you have low blood pressure. You have low suboptimal glucose levels. You also have suboptimal iron levels. Your thyroid is not doing very well. In fact, we found an autoimmune disease that you have, so that's a whole nother realm. And then we found that you have your vitamin D isn't really in the optimal sweet spot for optimal health. And then we did some basic elimination diet, and we found some foods that you're sensitive to, which cause chronic inflammation. And then because we did all these things right up on top, guess what happens to your sleep? You can freaking sleep. You don't need the benzo. You don't need the sleep medication that the doctor puts you on in a 2-minute visit. So this is the way I feel about it. God created you to be healthy. You can be well. You just got to look outside the box. Give me a thumbs up. If you're out there, share this with a friend. You got to share this with a friend and contact me, because there's no need to be suffering when there's actually guided help for you to get better. And remember, is where there's help, there's hope. Take care. Bye-bye.